Thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This week we talk about Jane Campion and the Royals. We end with our weekly feature, The Comments of the Week. The stories, photos, and tweets we talk about can be found at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 119. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
And I'm Chandra, I'm the head writer for Celebrity, and I write as Kaiser.
So we're going to be off next week, and then we'll be back on April 2nd, because we're going to take off for the Oscars, and that's our regular schedule. We've been watching more of the Oscars movies. You saw CODA. I saw that you were tweeting about that.
Yeah, I saw CODA. I loved it. I should have watched it months ago. I kept on forgetting and just putting it off. I was sure I was going to like it, and it was great. Troy Kotsur. I totally understand why he's winning everything, because he was excellent in it. I thought everyone was great.
Yeah, it was cute.
Just a side note, I'm kind of astonished that the French Dispatch didn't get more awards attention, because that was one of my favorite movies of the year. And yeah. I'm also completely shocked that Cruella did not get more attention for awards.
You love that movie.
It was one of my favorite movies of the year. The script was so good. Emma Stone's performance was amazing. It deserves so much attention.
Yeah, that's high praise from you. It is.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge Disney person either, but I thought that film was brilliant.
Nice. I didn't see that yet. We talked about that before, too. I saw Summer of Soul on Hulu. That's Questlove's documentary, and that's probably going to win Best Documentary. And that category is still going to be in the Oscars this year. I checked. So that's good. That was a delightful movie.
It was a wonderful documentary, and it was the kind of thing where it could have been a series. It could have been 6 hours long, split up into 2 hour, whatever. Because it was an actual summer concert series with like 6
weekends, yeah.
And they could have shown so much more footage of the concert.
But it was fun, and they picked the highlights, and you were head bopping, like I was kind of dancing on the couch, and it just was a lovely documentary. And I've seen stupid true crime documentaries that are like 4 or 5 episodes that don't have as much content as in the 2 hours of Summer of Soul.
Yeah, it was great. I love that Questlove did it that way. Yeah, of course it could have been longer. I wanted to see more Stevie Wonder. I wanted to see more Sly and the Family Stone, because that performance was epic.
It was cool, yes.
And I love that everyone was like, oh, here's the proto-prince. And I was like, holy shit, I've never thought of Sly that way. But he was. Yeah. He was the proto-prince.
It was a fun documentary. I liked all the people who went when they were like in college, and the one guy who went when he was a kid and remembered it and was so touched that the documentary was being made. I love the one guy who was like talking about the style and how he and his friends were wearing suits, because suits were in and everybody was trying to dress like that, until they went to that festival and realized that they needed to be wearing bell bottoms and dressing cooler.
Yeah, all of the style stuff was really amazing, of like, this is what, Harlem looked like in 1969. And it was so diverse, just as far as fashion went. There were like true hippies wearing bell bottoms and like peasant shirts. And then you had all of these really fly suits too, in really bright colors. It was great.
And the dashikis and the African style too. It was an awesome documentary. And I would watch it again, and I would watch a follow-up too, if they decide to make one.
I've always heard, stories about what Mayor Lindsay was like back in, the late 60s and early 70s. Like that he was a cool guy. I never realized that he was a Republican, and I never realized that he was a really good-looking guy, that he looks like Paul Newman.
He looks like a movie star.
He really does. And all the black folks were like, oh, he was cool. We loved Mayor Lindsay. He was a Republican, but he was down.
Yeah, and they introduced him that way during the show, too. It was really nice. So you're watching The Gilded Age.
Yeah, the finale comes on next week. So the week after we record this.
And you haven't written about that yet, right? You have a story coming up about it?
Yeah, I have a story about corsets, and I've like mentioned it in the links, like Pajiba's done recaps, and I think Go Fug Yourself has been talking about it a lot, too.
Oh, yeah, they do recaps, too. Yeah.
I love it.
So before we start talking about it, I wanted to play this segment from Zoom because everybody in the Zoom was watching it, too.
Okay.
I'm obsessed with that show. The only thing I don't like, the main character, Miss Brooke, I find her to be a charisma vacuum. And she's Meryl Streep's daughter.
She did not inherit the talent.
Like everyone else.
That has been a recurring theme in this chat about that woman.
Her waist is very small, though. She does look great in the costumes.
Yeah. And whenever she's trying to be surprised or upset, it looks like my junior high school play when I was 13, pretending to be a doctor forgetting Christmas. Like, it was a mess.
This past episode, and I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a scene between her and Peggy. I paused it and went up to the TV to see if there was even one tear. Can we get one tear? It's so bad, it's distracting.
They didn't edit, and I think because then she had the tear after, and I think they like put it in, you know, with like after, because like they cut away to Peggy, who she's a great actress, so she was emoting, and then when they came back, it was like the Lauren Conrad single tear.
So yeah, they love it too. That was just a little part where they were clowning on Louisa Jacobson. She plays Miss Brooks, who's kind of the lead.
So she's Meryl Streep's daughter, and you can see some Streep in her. But yeah, she's not her mother. She's not that kind of actress. It's not that kind of role. They've done it in a way so that she's supposed to be the fish out of water. She's supposed to be learning. Okay. I think she works in that kind of role. It's going to be harder once she starts wising up and stops being so naive. We'll see what kind of dramatic chops she has then. But yeah, she's about to make a huge mistake, and I cannot wait to see how it plays out.
Okay, so you know about it. Okay. I have only seen the first episode. I don't think I'm going to keep watching it because I'm not as into those period shows, probably because, you know me, I like really easy shit I don't have to pay attention to. And it's got a lot going on, which is good.
Yeah, but it is real easy. Like, the actual stories are very soap opera. It's so much fun. And it has that same sort of energy of a high-minded soap opera. Julian Fellows keeps trying to do all this shit of like, oh, here's what the servants are doing. And no one really cares. Like, I actually cared when the servants had drama in Downton Abbey. Yeah. But American households are not the same. Even back in the 1880s, it was like, oh, a maid is acting up. Well, let's just fire her. You know, it's that easy. But in Downton Abbey, that would have been a season-long arc.
Yes. Oh, that makes sense. So they're trying to bring him in where it doesn't fit with the American angle.
Yeah. But Christine Baranski's amazing in it. Cynthia Nixon's very good in it, too. Louisa Jacobson. She's the lead along with Carrie Coon. And Carrie Coon is like this very rich, new rich money. Yes. And she has the most spectacular costumes, and they give her all the best jewelry, and it's amazing.
So she was pregnant during a lot of that. I heard they were talking about it on Zoom, and that's why she's wearing these voluminous outfits.
But it's great.
Everybody loves her and her husband.
Oh, God, her husband is so fucking hot.
He's very hot, yeah.
In, like, the penultimate episode of this season, he has, like, sexual chemistry with every character he's in a scene with. He's just that kind of actor where it's like, ooh, is something about to happen here? Like, ooh.
All right, let's talk about Jane Campion. Ugh. I know it. We had the BAFTAs and the Critics' Choice Awards on Sunday the 13th. And Power of the Dog, which is the movie she directed, won Best Picture and Best Director at the BAFTAs, at the Critics' Choice, and at the Directors Guild Awards. So the Oscar voting runs from March 17th to the 22nd. That's when everybody votes on what's going to win. And I'm saying that because Power of the Dog was coming out to be the strongest contender, but after Campion stuck her foot in her mouth, I don't think it is as strong anymore.
Yeah, I think she really hurt her chances as well.
Honestly, I had turned the TV off at this point because I was tired. It was Sunday. We lost an hour and it was my birthday. So I was like, fuck this. I'm not watching the rest of the show. And when she won Best Director, she looked over at Venus and Serena Williams and she said, Serena and Venus, you are such marbles. However, you do not play against the guys like I have to. What the fuck? Why would you say that to two of the greatest athletes in the world? It's not the same. It's totally different field. Why would you even compare yourself to them in your acceptance speech? That's cheap and crappy.
And it's not even true. Just on a technical level, it's not true. Like, they've competed against guys plenty of times. They've played mixed doubles plenty of times. And they do compete against men in the larger sense for money and sponsorship.
Oh, yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
And for media attention. And the men don't have to put up with half the shit that Venus and Serena have had to put up with their entire careers.
No, they do not.
I'd also like to point out the Critics' Choice Awards, that was the first time that Venus and Serena both came out to an award show.
And they have to put up with that shit.
Yeah. Everything had been going so well for their appearance. Like, everyone was so happy to see them. There were all of these, like, cutaways to Venus and Serena at the King Richard table. And you could just tell that they were, like, the stars of the party. And they were having such a good time. And then Jane Campion just had to ruin it.
So she issued an apology the day after, when she got a lot of well-deserved shit for being a racist piece of shit. And she wrote that she made a thoughtless comment equating what I do in the film world with all that Serena and Venus Williams have achieved. I did not intend to devalue these two legendary Black women. And she said that they have squared off against men and they've raised the bar and opened doors for women, etc. And she says, I apologize and completely celebrate you. Which is good, because she didn't say, I apologize if you were offended or if you took it the wrong way. But that bar is very low.
Yeah.
Like, she also didn't acknowledge her privilege, and she didn't talk about what she did.
And yeah, she didn't try to justify her comments in any way, which I did appreciate that. Still, she waited almost a full 24 hours before saying anything.
She probably didn't think she had to.
Yeah. As I pointed out in my coverage, I was like, even if you say the wrong thing in a speech, that's when you go right back into the press room and try to clean it up.
She should have realized then and there that it was wrong.
Exactly.
I mean, she should have never said it. How do those words come out of your stupid fucking mouth? But after that, take it back.
Right. Like, I can understand kind of getting mixed up in the moment, even though I don't think that's what happened.
Yeah.
You fuck up. You forget to thank the right people. You say something weird. You immediately go clean it up in press. You issue a statement right away, or you grab the first journalist you see and say, this is what I really meant.
So we talked about this on Zoom, and here's a segment from that.
Jane Campion saw them and just got triggered for whatever reason. But you haven't had to deal with what I deal with. It's like, what? Bitch, what? We just sitting here. Why are you dragging me into this? Keep our names out of your mouth.
But there are other films that are just as good as that film that are up now. And I think the issue is that, did she split her votes? You were just enough people were like, I'm going to vote for someone else. Did you see that photo behind the scenes? Apparently, after that, said all that, she read the room and everybody was like, oh, and she ran up to Venus and wrapped her arms around her. And there's that really awkward photo of them. And people are like, oh, Venus forgave her. I'm like, no, she didn't. Venus was in public and she was put in a terrible position.
I know that smile. I've done that smile before.
We've all done that smile.
Okay, we're in public. Okay.
Well, if she'd rebuffed her, then the conversation would quickly have changed to how Venus and Serena snubbed Jane Campion, even though she wanted to apologize, and look how they're just angry Black women.
And they understood that at that moment. I got to do this because it's going to be made worse for me if I don't do this performative bullshit where she's throwing her arms around her.
It wasn't even factual. Venus and Serena have played against men their entire careers. What is she talking about?
And it just had nothing to do with anything.
Exactly. Why?
You know why? Because they got a standing ovation, the entire room. It went on for over a minute. Just everyone standing, clapping for them. And that shit pissed her off. And she had to bring them down a peg. That's what. Yeah, when they came out, they stood there and the room was fangirling. They just came out to talk about their movie. The entire room stood up and clapped for them. And it went on for a while.
Yeah, it's like you said.
And that's what triggered her. That's what did it.
And like you said, she had to put them in their place.
Yeah, it was too much. And she had to regulate it. And that's why she said it. Because they have nothing to do with her.
So I saw when Serena and Venus came out, like Zakia was talking about, but I wasn't paying as much attention. And as she said, they got a full standing ovation, and that's probably what set Jane Campion off.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree that Campion was probably in some way trying to put them in their place.
Yeah, that was really racist. Yeah. And in her statement, she should have said that was racist of me, and I have a lot of learning to do. But, you know, it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't deserve a fucking cookie for giving a thorough apology, but whatever. Let's just hope that Power of the Dog does not win.
That would be great. It was a boring fucking movie. It was too long. I can't say that because I didn't watch the whole thing, but
it really wasn't that long. I watched it in 2 parts, though. I got mad at Benedict's character for, like, abusing a horse. So I turned it off and then I, like, picked it back up. It moves faster after that.
Okay.
Like, yeah, there are other movies which are better choices for Best Picture. You know, Joanna Robinson, who used to work for Prajiba, she said that she's getting a real vibe about CODA.
Yeah, CODA will probably win.
That CODA is gonna, like, sneak up on everyone and win Best Picture.
I could see that. I thought it was the front runner after the SAGs. But then, you know, this past weekend happened. I think CODA might win. And I'm still rooting for King Richard. I know it's not going to win Best Picture, but Will Smith will win Best Actor, and that'll be nice.
Yeah, I think that's a sure thing. Absolutely now.
Yeah.
And even though his promotion last fall for King Richard was messy as hell, his actual appearances at award shows have been flawless. He's been saying all of the right things. He's been giving attention to Venus and Serena. He's been talking about his co-stars. He's just doing everything right now.
He's a great actor, and he knows everybody, and he knows how to schmooze.
Yeah, absolutely. He's another one who's very popular in the room.
Yeah.
And, like, you could see that in the photos of, like, the SAGs and the Critics' Choice, that he was friendly with everyone. Like, Bradley Cooper has his back. Denzel apparently said to him, "It's your turn."
Ooh.
Like, everyone is geared up to, like...
He's up against Denzel, too.
I know. But no one watched Macbeth. Oh, my God.
I was thinking about it, but
I tried to watch it and I was like, nope, I can't do this. Talk about long and pointlessly long. Oh,
it's like something you watch if you're in college and you have to know it for class.
And Macbeth is a play where, like, a lot of shit happens very quickly, and they were just dragging it out for no reason.
All right, let's talk about the royals. Speaking of dragging it out, that was a weak transition. But so last week we talked about Prince William's racist gaffe when he was at the Ukrainian Cultural Centre with Kate, and he said it's very alien to see this in Europe. And there was a debate as to whether he said that Britons were used to seeing war in Africa and Asia before that, or if that was editorializing by the journalist. It doesn't matter because he still said that other part, and that was bad enough. And he didn't issue a follow-up or a clarification or anything. They just ignored it like they do because they think it's fine or wouldn't have come out of his mouth in the first place.
Yeah, I don't get that. It's another thing where you're in the moment, you might misspeak, you say something kind of the wrong way. Just clean it up immediately. It's no big fucking deal. Just say, obviously, this is what I meant.
He didn't, and he's not gonna, because they don't think he puts a foot wrong, like his wife either. And he also didn't go to the BAFTAs, and he's the patron of the BAFTAs.
He's honorary president.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah. And so the British media just tried to completely ignore that the racist gaffe happened at the Ukrainian Center. And then they didn't give him any shit for not going to the BAFTAs. The only excuse or explanation he gave is that he had a conflict in his diary. He didn't do anything on Sunday.
No.
He didn't make any appearances anywhere else. There weren't even reports of, like, oh, he had to be in Norfolk with his children. There was nothing like that. He was just sitting at home doing nothing. Or he was having an affair, you know.
Doing somebody.
Yeah.
They have that grudge against the BBC because of the princes and the press. And that's why they didn't show Kate's stupid caroling special on the BBC. But he can't keep that up forever.
Right. And they actually have worked with the BBC since then. So
whatever. He just didn't want to do it. And they're doing that Caribbean tour. That's happening in a couple of days, March 19th through the 26th. They're still going through with that shit. That's going to be so dumb. Oh my God. And I hope they get dragged like they did in Scotland when they were flouting the COVID restrictions in Scotland.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was a lot different because I think no one was vaccinated back then.
Including those yokels, without masks on in people's faces. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's going to be bad because these countries, they kind of halfway want independence. And at first I thought that Will and Kate were sort of being set up to fail, especially in Jamaica.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise that Jamaica truly wants independence and that they're really going to go for it at some point in the next year or so. And if that happens, Will and Kate will be blamed because they were the last royals in there.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it could be some sort of power play by Charles to be like, see, Will and Kate are dumbasses who lost us Jamaica.
We can't give them power sooner than they deserve.
Right.
Over my dead body, literally.
And you know that the comments that they make in all of these countries are going to be ridiculous.
Oh, isn't that interesting? How do you get your hair that way? Would you do mine too?
And Kate's going to try to cosplay some Jamaican flags, Belizean flags.
She will. That would probably be the least offensive thing that she's cosplaying. So Prince Harry is promoting the Invictus Games. Those are going to be at The Hague from April 16th through the 22nd. We got a cute video of him trying to speak Dutch to their organizers over Zoom. That was adorable. And he pulled off his sweatshirt and was in all orange with these goofy glasses.
It was really cute.
He is cute. And Dutch is strange. It's harder for me because there's a lot of words that sound like German. So I took a KLM flight once and I was understanding every third word, trying to make sense of it. It was making my brain hurt.
To me, I thought Harry sounded okay as he was, attempting to speak Dutch. I know that wasn't the point of it.
No, he did sound okay, yeah.
It sounded respectful and also silly.
He was trying to get the accent right, too, as you were writing.
It was very cute.
Yeah, he's adorable. So Harry is not planning to visit the Queen when he's in Europe, and there's a lot of bullshit about that in the press, and he's not planning on attending the memorial for Prince Philip on March 29th, which is over 2 weeks before he's going to even be there. So I don't know why they want him to keep coming back. Oh, I know why. But
well, so the timeline was that first he told the palace and then he told the press that he wasn't coming for Philip's memorial.
Okay.
And then the next day he did that Dutch video for the Invictus Games. So it was a confirmation that, oh, right, he is going to the Invictus Games. That made everyone freak out. Why would he go to the Invictus Games but not come for Philip's memorial? I kind of think that he's going to absolutely skip Philip's memorial, and the Queen probably will too.
Okay.
But I do think that Harry is going to try to stop in either coming or going from the Netherlands. I think he probably will try to see the Queen.
Okay.
That's just a guess.
We were talking about that last week too.
Yeah.
He might. And I do think that they video chat with her.
I do too.
And that she's met her grandkids. Her great-grandkids.
Yeah.
So Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, who Prince Philip would have wanted to have more publicity.
Sophie Wessex of Oprah Who fame.
Yeah. Even though she went to Oprah's girls' school and there's photos of her. She's in New York for 4 days. Nobody's paying any attention. Nobody knows about it except us because we dig through, you dig through the royal news. And she brought her own photographer, and that's the only person taking pictures of her.
It's the craziest fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I get having one pool photographer travel with you and then issue those photos out to photo agencies.
So you have nice ones.
Yeah, that's not what is happening here at all. Sophie brought a photographer. He's posing her, at the UN. He's also taking these fake candid shots of her coming and going from buildings.
With Starbucks or
This guy is the only one photographing her. Getty does not have any photos of her. All of the major photo agencies, no one is paying any attention. No one is even bothering to photograph her or buy this one guy's photos.
Even our photo agencies that have photos of the royals normally.
Right.
And they have people in New York because we get premiere photos from New York. They don't have any pictures of Sophie.
Right. It is so weird. And I do think it's like the British royal family's soft re-entry into America. They want to make sure that Americans still like them and that they're still interested in them.
Obviously not.
Yeah. They don't want Sophie to get any bad press, but I'm not sure if she was supposed to get absolutely zero press. People magazine has written about her a few times, but
it doesn't make it on the front page, does
No.
it? It's kind of, no. And she did a keynote speech at the UN
to like
for
a dozen
women's
people.
rights in Afghanistan. That's good that she's getting involved in those causes, but yeah, she's not getting a lot of press. So the big event this week was the Commonwealth service, and that was Tuesday at Westminster Abbey. The Queen wasn't there. And you guys remember the photos from 2020, which was Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan's last kind of get together with his whole family. And Harry looks absolutely mad. And Meghan is like smiling, trying to keep it together. She does a really good job at that. You know, she's like, it's okay, honey.
In the 2020 photos, I always think that Meghan just looks so at peace. She's like, this is my last day here. You know, I'm out of here and I'm never coming back.
Oh, that's a good perspective. I didn't think of it like that.
She seems like she's just totally vibing. I remember watching a video clip of her and she looked like she was just enjoying the music, being peaceful.
She's getting her meditation skills in. She's like, it's fine. I got this.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to deal with these people.
But Harry was totally upset that day.
He was like,
Mm-hmm. He was ready to punch his brother.
You've been using those photos forever. There's a lot of stories that call for those photos. So the only people at the Commonwealth service this year were Kate and William and Camilla and Charles. That's it.
Yep.
For the royals.
No Wessexes, no Queen. The Queen skipped out. None of the minor royals like Beatrice, Eugenie, they didn't come.
No.
And it was a total snooze fest. And even like what Kate and Camilla wore, it was just boring.
That's their personality and their style, although Camilla is the every blousy woman, whatever, accessible.
And Camilla skipped out on meeting the Commonwealth youth leaders because she is still feeling the effects of COVID.
Supposedly, but she did other stuff.
Yeah, she went shopping.
So if she still feels COVID-y, why is she going to meet people without a mask still?
I don't know. Once again, the British press won't call her out. They didn't call her out.
They want access.
For meeting all those people maskless right after Charles tested positive.
And of course she had COVID and nobody connected the dots. She announced she tested positive for COVID after that. Nobody connected the dots. She's an asshole.
Uh-huh.
We record on Thursdays. So today was the annual St. Patrick's Day parade for the 1st Battalion Irish Guards. And Kate and William went there. And it was fine. You know, it's the same as the Commonwealth thing. They go and they smile and they do stuff. And if there's something lacking, but okay.
What do you think of Kate's like little military coats?
She has one style. It's either that or she copies her mother-in-law at the exact same event.
She has
or Meghan.
She has either Victorian style or like this fake military Sergeant Pepper look. And today's look was a little bit Victorian, a little bit Sergeant Pepper.
Oh.
The coat would have been cute without all the buttons and without the huge collar and without the military stuff.
That's her style.
Basically, it was not a cute coat.
Oh, you made a good style observation, though, that it's a mix of her military cosplay and her Victorian thing. So that's why it appealed to her.
Yeah.
That's insightful.
Oh, but there's a new Irish wolfhound. We could talk about Seamus. He was real cute.
The dog is pretty, yeah. Do those dogs shed a lot, though? So I've been looking at dogs. I don't own my house, so I need to do something like that before I get a dog or like significantly butter my landlord up. But I've been looking at dogs, and one of my main concerns is how much they shed.
Those Irish wolfhounds look like they shed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But he was beautiful, Seamus.
He's a pretty dog, yeah. Also, how big they are, like how big their poop is. Because no, seriously, because you got to clean it up. I want a medium-sized dog who can hike with me.
Yeah.
And doesn't shit a lot.
The Irish Wolfhound looks like a fucking horse.
Yeah, you would have a lot of poop to clean up with it.
I see so many little dogs on my walk, but they don't like to walk for a very long time. They're like, yeah, half a mile, that's good.
They're lazy little dogs. You got to pick them up. I want one that'll go like 3 miles or 4 miles with me and just keep me company. And also a little bit protective, like not German Shepherdy. Like I had a friend who had a German Shepherd and you could not go over her house or she couldn't have parties. Like I guess one person could.
I feel like that's what the Biden's problem was, that Commander and Major, they were just way too protective over Jill and Joe.
Yeah.
No one was allowed near mom and dad. If you got near mom and dad, you would get bitten.
I mean, if you need that, it's a good dog to have. But you also, if you're real social, you have to be careful about getting those kind of dogs.
Yeah.
Like poor Sandra Bullock, after her home was invaded, she got a German Shepherd. And that was probably a big relief to her to have that kind of dog, too.
Well, doesn't she have like 1 million dogs, though?
She has a bunch now, but I remember seeing after she had that, she got a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm recording this later. So Irish Wolfhounds do not shed. They do lose a little bit of hair. They're not hypoallergenic. They don't need a lot of grooming either. So my mom would be proud that I looked this up. Okay, now back to our show. All right, let's move on to the comments of the week. So my comment of the week is from the post about Kanye West posting on Instagram that he thought Pete was going to get Kim hooked on drugs. And Kanye wrote, "I'm really concerned that Skeet will get my kid's mom hooked on drugs. He's in rehab every 2 months." And then Megan commented, "She lived with Kanye. If that didn't drive her to drugs, nothing will."
And it's just such a stupid criticism, or
that he gets help for his problem.
Yeah, and that Kim is the least druggy person ever.
Yeah.
Even if you think Kim is the worst, like, she's not a drug person. She's just not. That's not her deal.
She's not a drinker. She doesn't do drugs.
Yeah. All right, my comment, I have several comments of the week because they all came one after the other and they were absolutely hilarious. It was all about Will and Kate's Keen Caribbean tour, which again starts on Saturday. Commenters were trying to predict what William would say about, oh, the kids like this or the kids like that, because that's all he can ever talk about. And so Fisha Lori, he said maybe he'll mention how much he wants to introduce his children to the beauty of Jamaica and all its natural resources. It must be preserved for his future generation.
Right? His future generation. Exactly.
And Equality wrote, and remind the locals not to have too many children and ruin the place. And then Sui Generous wrote, that's on if he'll go to his default comment at every single event. George is obsessed with Jamaica. He asks to grow dreadlocks every day.
Oh, gosh. That's really true. He's always like, my kid likes that. We have to do this for my kids. But you can't have any kids.
Anyway, that comment thread was hilarious. Thank you.
It'll get better when they go. You know they're going to do stupid shit.
It's going to be shit like that. It's not going to be COVID related, I don't think.
Oh, you mean they're not going to say terrible COVID things?
Well, I mean, it's always a crapshoot about, like, what offensive shit they'll do. Like, are they going to be offensive about COVID? Are they going to be offensive about the Ukrainian war?
Yeah.
Who knows? I think they're going to be offensive about, like, racist shit.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer, no offense. They've done that time and again.
And maybe William will share some overpopulation thoughts, you know.
Yeah, it's his favorite topic.
Yep.
All right, well, thanks for listening, bitches.
Thanks, bitches.
Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you like us, please turn off your ad blocker when you visit our site. You can text us or leave a voicemail at 434-218-3219. Our music is from AA Alto, Maiden, and via Premium Beat and Sound of Picture. Thanks again.